He didn't love you. He studied you, and then he used your own heart against you. Let that sit in your chest for a second. Let it crawl up your spine, because until you face that truth, you will keep chasing ghosts. You keep calling it love, but love doesn't leave you crying in your car while he sleeps soundly, knowing he broke you again. Love doesn't make you question your worth, your sanity, or your reality. Love doesn't turn your mind into a war zone. So before we go any further, do this right now. Press that like button like you're slamming the door on his name, and subscribe like you're locking it behind you forever. Not for me, for you, for your peace. Because what we're about to get into isn't just another video, it's your wake-up call. Welcome back to the channel, my love. And no, you didn't find this by accident. You're not here because you were bored scrolling. You're here because your soul is tired. Tired of shrinking, tired of surviving, tired of giving and giving until you're nothing but a shell of the woman you used to be. And I see you. I see the way you're still checking if he viewed your story. I see the way you're hoping he regrets it. I see the way you're pretending to be over it while secretly praying he texts. But let me tell you something you've been too scared to admit. He's not thinking about you like that. He's not pacing his room crying over what he lost. He's not replaying your love story in his head. He's not broken. You are. Because you're still holding the glass after he dropped you. I once worked with a woman named Brielle, gave a man 3 years of her life, cooked for him, covered rent, took care of his sick mother. He never said thank you, but he always made her feel like she wasn't doing enough. He'd disappear for days, then come back with some weak excuse, and she'd take him back every single time. And when she finally caught him cheating and told him it was over, do you know what he said? "You're not going anywhere. You always come back." That wasn't a guess. That was a pattern. A pattern she trained him to believe. A pattern that almost cost her everything until she vanished without a word. Blocked, deleted, gone. That man spiraled. He didn't miss her love. He missed her loyalty, her attention, her availability, her energy, her silence. That was his punishment. You think silence is passive, that it means you gave up, that it means he won. No, silence is what happens when a woman decides she is done performing. It is what happens when a woman chooses herself over potential. Silence is Stoicism. No reaction, no performance, no need to prove. Because you don't owe him closure. You don't owe him another conversation. You don't owe him access to the new version of you that he never deserved in the first place. And I know society fed you lies. Be the bigger person. Give him one more chance. Good women stick around. Bullshit. You were taught to be a doormat and call it devotion. You were taught that pain meant passion, that chaos meant love. You were never taught that real love feels like peace, not survival. And now you're sitting in silence, not because you found peace, but because you're out of energy. And I need you to hear this, loud and clear. You are not crazy. You are not too much. You are not hard to love. You were just giving all your softness to a man who only knew how to sharpen it against his ego. So here's your reality check. He's not confused. He's not broken. He's not scared of losing you. He's scared of losing the version of you that needed him to feel whole. But that version? She's dying now? And the woman replacing her? She's dangerous. She's untouchable. She's quiet. And that silence. It's loud enough to make him crumble. Say it out loud right now. I disappear quietly. Then type it in the comments. Let him feel it. Let the universe feel it. But more importantly, let you believe it. Because in the next section, we're about to rip off the mask completely and expose exactly why he's panicking. Not because he lost your heart, but because he lost his grip. Stay with me. Don't blink. Silence is coming. Number 1. He took everything you had and still wanted you to thank him. So, my dear, you gave him your soul. He gave you confusion. You gave him your loyalty. He gave you silence. You gave him second chances like candy, and he chewed them up and spit them out like they meant nothing. And you, yes, you, still stood there, heart bleeding, asking him if he needed a bandage. Let's call it what it is. You weren't in love. You were in a war zone, and you kept thinking that if you just loved harder, he'd stop throwing grenades. You thought if you bled enough, he'd realize your worth. You kept handing him every sacred part of you, thinking eventually he'd treasure it. But here's the truth no one told you. He didn't want your love. He wanted your silence in return for his disrespect. And when you finally got tired, he acted shocked, like you were the problem, like you were the one who changed. Of course he was shocked. You trained him to believe you'd never leave. You taught him that your forgiveness was unlimited. You let him believe that disrespect was a subscription service with no cancellation fee. And when you finally cancelled, that's when the audacity showed up. But this isn't just about him. This is bigger than him. This is about the sick, twisted version of love that we've all been force-fed since we were little girls. You know what they told you, right? Good women wait. Be patient. He'll grow. Stand by your man. Real love is hard. No, that's not love. That's manipulation in a pretty dress. That's control with flowers on top. That's abuse dipped in poetry and sold as romance. Let me be brutally honest with you. The hardest pill to swallow is that most of what you believed about love was a lie. Love is not supposed to feel like begging. Love is not supposed to feel like trying to prove your worth. Love is not supposed to feel like being chosen last, later, maybe, or never. You weren't wrong for loving. You were wrong for calling it love when it was really just emotional debt collection. He took from you and called it care. He drained you and called it connection. And the world around you clapped for him. They told you to understand him, be the bigger person, don't give up so fast. But no one ever told him to stop breaking you. No one ever told him to be better. The burden was always placed on you, to endure, to bend, to wait. And you did. Until there was nothing left of you but a woman who looked in the mirror and barely recognized herself. But here's where everything shifts. Because now you're silent. Now you've pulled your love off the table. Now you've stopped trying to heal a man who enjoys watching you hurt. And that silence, that's the eviction notice he never saw coming. He never believed you'd go quiet. He always thought he had you on a leash. But now, he's talking to walls. He's shouting into the void. And you're reclaiming your power one quiet breath at a time. But I know, baby. I know. It hurts. It hurts to realize it wasn't love. It hurts to admit you gave everything to someone who didn't deserve anything. It hurts to see that society clapped while you destroyed yourself in the name of being a good woman. So what do you do with that pain? You rise. But not in revenge, not in performance, not in some dramatic "look at me now" post he'll scroll past anyway. You rise for you. You rise by choosing peace over closure. You rise by choosing silence over suffering. You rise by choosing your worth over the story they wrote for you. One of my clients, let's call her Renee, came to me after 7 years of being invisible in her own relationship. He cheated, lied, ghosted, then blamed her for not being fun anymore. She kept trying to fix it. She went to therapy alone. She changed her body, her hair, her voice, just to be more desirable to a man who didn't even remember her birthday. She told me through tears, maybe if I was just more exciting. And I looked her in the eyes and said, "He doesn't need exciting. He needs a doormat, and you are not one." It broke her, and then it rebuilt her. Now. Renee is silent. No texts, no posts, no dramatic exits. She just left, quietly, completely. And guess what? He spiraled, because silence was the one thing he never prepared for. So, my love, take this pain and use it. Not to punish him, but to rebuild you. Say it out loud right now. I reclaim me. Now type it in the comments. Let him feel it. Let society feel it. Let you finally believe it. Because next, we're diving even deeper into the one lie he's still hoping you'll believe. That he's confused. That he didn't mean to. That he's just going through something. But no, my dear, he's not confused. He's calculated. And when we come back, I'm going to show you just how far he planned to break you. Stay silent. Stay strong. Stay gone. Number 2. He's not crying. He's panicking without his favorite puppet. So, my dear, he's not crying. He's panicking. Not because he lost your love, but because he lost his favorite puppet. Let's stop romanticizing the breakdown you think he's having. You're sitting there, broken, checking your phone, wondering if he finally realized what he had, thinking maybe he's somewhere hurting, reflecting, missing you, crying into the pillow like they do in the movies. No, that's not what's happening. He's not grieving. He's calculating. He's not in pain. He's in panic, because for the first time, you're silent. And silence to a man like that, it's not peaceful. It's threatening. Because your silence means one thing. He's not in control anymore. You think he's sad? He's twitching because you were his emotional vending machine. Push a few buttons. I miss you. You're overthinking. I was just busy. And there you were, pouring out your attention like a drug he never paid for. And now, you've unplugged the machine. He's going cold turkey, shaking, pacing. Not because he wants you back, but because he doesn't know how to exist without you feeding him. Your love wasn't love to him. It was a supply. Your anger was fuel. Your pain was proof that he still mattered. You thought crying in front of him would move him. It didn't. It only confirmed that he still had access to the parts of you that you should have locked away a long time ago. Let me say it plain. He doesn't miss your soul. He misses the show, the screaming, the over-explaining, the crying at 2 a.m., the long messages he never responded to. That's what made him feel powerful. That's what gave him life. And now that you've gone quiet, now that there's no audience, he's crumbling. Because men like that don't know what to do without a stage. And baby, you were the lights, the camera, and the script. You were the one who kept the chaos going. Not because you wanted it, but because you were too loyal to leave, too hopeful to quit, too forgiving to cut the cord. But your silence, it's the rehab he never signed up for, and now he's twitching. He's not used to you being gone this long. He's used to you yelling, blocking, unblocking, threatening to leave, but never actually leaving. You trained him to believe you'd always come back, that you'd always pick up, that you'd always fold. So now that you're not reacting, he's spiraling, not out of heartbreak, out of hunger, because you were the source, and now the well is dry. Do you want to know what scares him more than your anger? Your indifference. When you stop responding. when you don't flinch at his name, when you don't jump when he texts, when you post something not for him to see, but because you feel good. That's when he starts losing his grip. And the truth is, he never thought you'd get here. He never thought you'd grow a silence that could choke him. He never thought you'd go missing without a final message. He never thought you'd become untouchable. But that's what you are now, untouchable. Because silence doesn't scream, "I care." It whispers, "I'm done." So stop wondering if he misses you. Stop imagining him crying. Stop fantasizing about the day he realizes what he lost. That's not your story anymore. Your story now is peace. And peace doesn't need an audience. Say it out loud right now. I starve his ego. Then type it in the comments. Let him feel it. Let the universe feel it. Let you feel it. Because what's coming next? We're digging into the lie he keeps selling you, that he's just confused, that he needs time, that he didn't mean to hurt you. Spoiler alert, he meant every move. And when we come back, we're tearing that mask clean off. Stay silent, stay sharp, stay gone. Number 3, he never loved you, he studied you. So, my dear, he never loved you, he studied you. And you need to hear that without softening it in your head. Don't dilute it, don't excuse it, don't dress it up in "he tried." No, he didn't love you, he learned you. Like a test he never intended to pass, just wanted to score enough points to stay in the game. He watched your insecurities like a hunter watches prey. He knew your soft spots, the ones you whispered to him in trust. He remembered every detail, not to hold you with love, but to hold you with control. You thought it was connection. He was collecting data. You thought it was chemistry. It was calculation. He figured out exactly how far he could go before you'd snap, then stayed just beneath the breaking point. And when you got close to walking away, here came the sweet nothings, the "I miss you," the "you're my everything," the fake vulnerability that made you feel special again. It wasn't real. It was rehearsed. He wasn't confused. He was trained. Trained by a lifetime of getting away with it. Trained by women who cried but didn't leave. Trained by a world that told him men just need time, while holding women hostage in emotional limbo. You thought you were building something, but he was just building a file on you. What makes you react? What makes you doubt yourself? What keeps you hooked? He'd say, "You're too sensitive," right after hurting you. He'd pull away and call you clingy for noticing. He'd lie, then twist it to make you feel crazy. None of that was an accident. None of it. He knew exactly what he was doing. This is where it hurts. Because if you accept that he meant to hurt you, then you have to face that you were never loved. You were used. You were tested. You were pushed until your spirit cracked. And he sat back to see if you'd still stay. And you did. Because you're loyal. Because you loved deeply. Because you believed in him more than you believed in yourself. But love without safety isn't love. It's self-destruction in disguise. This kind of man doesn't want a partner. He wants a mirror. Someone to reflect his greatness back at him. And the moment you stop clapping, the moment you say, "This hurts," he calls you dramatic. He calls you difficult. He makes you question you. Because that's the game. Break her down. Make her unsure. Keep her spinning. That way she never notices he's the storm. But guess what he can't do? He can't speak silence. He can't control stillness. Silence is the one language he can't fake fluency in. Because silence means you're no longer in the game. Silence means you've stopped reacting, stopped explaining, stopped bleeding out truth in hopes he'll finally listen. And that terrifies him, because men like that don't fear losing your love. They fear losing the strings they pulled to make you dance. And now, you're not dancing anymore. You're sitting in silence. And that silence, it's louder than every fight you ever had. It's stronger than every message you ever sent. It's more powerful than any "I love you" he ever faked. So here's your truth. He didn't fail to love you. He never tried. Because it was never about love. It was always about control. And now you're taking that control back. Say it with your chest right now. I stop being his study. Now type it in the comments. Let him feel it. Let the world feel it. Let you feel it. Because in the next section, we're going deeper. You think staying was about love, but it wasn't. You stayed because you were trained to hope. Trained by a society that sold you struggle and called it romance. And we're about to burn that lie to the ground. Stay grounded, stay quiet, stay gone. Number 4. You keep hoping he'll change, but he's hoping you don't. So, my dear, you think your hope is powerful, that if you just hold on a little longer, he'll get it. He'll wake up one day, realize how deeply you loved him, and finally choose you the way you've been choosing him all along. That if you wait it out, he'll become the man he could be. But here's the truth you've been too afraid to face. He loves that you're stuck in potential, because potential keeps you waiting. Potential keeps you checking his page. Potential keeps you answering his dry, 2-word messages like they're golden tickets. And while you're over there, clinging to the fantasy, he's living fully in his reality, where he doesn't change and you don't leave. He's not hoping to grow, he's hoping you won't. Because the moment you grow, you stop seeing him as someone worth waiting for. The moment you evolve, you stop seeing his chaos as something you need to fix. And that's his greatest fear, that one day you'll wake up and say, "I don't want this anymore." But he hides that fear well. He plays the part just enough. A little breadcrumb here, a miss you there, a comment on your post, a random text at 1 a.m. And just like that, your hope flares up again. You start telling yourself, he's trying. No, baby, he's maintaining, just enough to keep you hooked. Let me say it clearly. Your hope is not inspiring him, it's enabling him. Hope is beautiful, until it becomes your prison. You keep feeding him your faith, and he keeps using it to feed his ego. He knows as long as you're hoping, you're not healing. As long as you're wondering, you're not walking. As long as you're clinging to the maybe, you're not choosing the never again. And he loves that. He loves knowing he still lives rent-free in your head. He loves knowing you still wonder if he's watching. He loves knowing you haven't blocked him, haven't fully let go, haven't reclaimed your life. Because to him, your silence isn't scary until it's real. Until it's not a reaction, it's a decision. But let me tell you what silence really is. It's you flipping the board on the game he thought he was winning. Because every time you argue, he gets validation. Every time you post something emotional, he gets attention. Every time you stalk his page, he stays in control. But silence cuts the power. Silence throws him into the dark. He doesn't know what to do with a woman he can't manipulate. He doesn't know how to respond to a woman who's no longer begging. He doesn't know how to chase someone who's not running. She's gone. So stop giving him more time to waste. Stop praying for potential. Stop assigning depth to a man who lives on the surface. Stop thinking this is about love. This is about attachment. And attachment will have you begging for scraps and calling it a feast. You say he's changed. Prove it. Let him sit in silence for 6 months and show up with consistency, therapy, and changed behavior. But let's be honest, he won't. Because he never had to. Because you never left long enough to show him what losing you actually feels like. But now you're quiet. Now you're no longer waiting. Now you're no longer hoping he'll see your worth, because you do. That's silence. It's the first act of self-respect you've given yourself in a long time. That silence is the loudest boundary you can ever set. That silence is your exit strategy, not your pause. Say it out loud right now. I let go of maybe. Then type it in the comments. Let him feel it. Let your old self feel it. Let the universe carry it and return it to you in peace. Number 5. You're screaming for closure, and he's watching with popcorn. So, my dear, you're out here pouring your heart into paragraphs he'll never read, recording voice notes he'll play on mute, typing and deleting, thinking maybe this time he'll finally understand what he did to you. You want him to feel it, your pain, your heartbreak, your betrayal. You want him to get it, but what you don't realize is he already does, and he does not care. Let that sink in. He's not confused, he's not hurting, he's not even listening. He's watching, and he's enjoying the show. Because your breakdown, it's his spotlight. Your rage, his validation. Your pain, his proof that he still matters. You're over there thinking your message will change him. Girl, he's reading it like a script. Same plot, same lines, same ending. You cry. He ignores. You rage. He smirks. You ask for answers. He gives you silence, not because he's lost, but because he knows the silence will drive you insane. He is not looking for healing, he's looking for attention. And every time you reach out just to get closure, you're not closing anything. You're reopening the same wound and giving him the same access he's been abusing since day one. You say you need closure. Let me tell you what closure really is. It's not a text. It's not an apology. It's not some magical moment where he suddenly becomes honest and accountable. Closure is when you stop expecting decency from someone who thrives off your confusion. Closure is when you decide the story is over, even if he never admits what he did. Every time you scream at a man like that, all you're doing is turning the lights back on for his performance. He plays the misunderstood lover, the broken soul, the good guy who just messed up. And you become the emotional backdrop for a scene he's rehearsed with every woman before you. You're not breaking through. You're being used. Used for validation. Used for attention. Used to make him feel powerful. He's not sorry, he's entertained. You're not confronting him. You're fueling him. But your silence? Now that hits different, because when you go quiet, there's no script to follow, no stage to stand on, no reaction to feed off, and suddenly the actor is just a man, alone, unseen, unimportant. When you go quiet, the lights go out, and the actor is left talking to himself. You keep saying, "I just need one more conversation." No, love. What you need is distance. What you need is peace. What you need is to stop dragging your dignity into another scene just so he can remind you that your pain makes him feel important. He doesn't owe you closure, because what you really want isn't an answer, it's a reversal. You want him to look you in the eyes and say, "I see it now. You were right. I was wrong. I loved you." But he can't give you that. Not because he can't speak the words, but because he doesn't feel them. And no amount of begging, explaining, or raging will put a soul inside a man who gave his heart to himself and his lies a long time ago. Let him sit in the silence he created. Let him talk to the ghosts of all the women he hurt. Let him spin in his own echo chamber. You're done performing. Say it right now with your whole chest. I end the show. Now type it in the comments. Let him feel the blackout. Let the universe witness the curtain drop. Let you feel the freedom of leaving a man with no audience left to lie to. Number 6. You think he's watching you because he cares. He's just making sure you're still breakable. That little scene under your story, that's not a sign he misses you. It's not love. It's not a secret message that he's thinking about you. It's surveillance. That like on your post from 3 months ago, that's not regret. That's not him reflecting. That's him pressing the bruise, checking if it still hurts. He's not watching because he wants to fix things. He's watching because he wants to measure the damage. He wants to know, are you still soft for him? Can he still make your heart skip with a hey stranger? Is the door still cracked open, just enough for him to slide back in? Because men like that don't knock. They don't ask permission. They don't apologize. They just check the windows, test the locks, and come back when they sense weakness. And baby, your emotions? That's the blueprint he memorized. He knows what you post when you're hurting. He knows what you caption when you're hoping. He knows what you wear when you want him to notice. And he's sitting back watching like a scientist studying a test subject. Not because he cares about your healing, but because he needs to make sure he can still interrupt it. This is not care. This is control rebranded as curiosity. And it's time you start calling it what it really is. You're over there rereading your captions, wondering if he'll read between the lines. But he's not reading to understand. He's reading to assess. He's checking the temperature. Is she still emotional? Is she still hurting? Is she still mine? You want to believe he's waking up to what he lost. You want to believe he's looking because he regrets. But you don't regret what you never respected. You don't miss what you never truly valued. And he never valued you. He consumed you. Now that you're silent, he's stalking. Not because he's heartbroken, but because he doesn't like being shut out of the world he used to dominate. Your silence isn't going unnoticed. It's driving him crazy. Because it whispers, you don't get access anymore. Silence is power because it does what your words never could. It removes the audience. He can't perform if no one's watching. He can't manipulate what isn't responding. He can't twist the story if you stop showing up to play your part. You think he's watching because he misses you. But this isn't nostalgia. This is strategy. He's collecting information, waiting for the moment you get weak enough to open the door again. And when you do, he won't come with flowers. He'll come with silence, with gaslighting, with more confusion. He'll remind you why you had to leave in the first place. He'll tear down all the strength you built. And you'll be back at square one, wondering if you're crazy, if you're too much, if it's your fault again. Don't give him that chance. Don't give him the show. Don't give him access. Because when you stay silent, truly silent, that's when the surveillance stops being useful. That's when he realizes he no longer knows how to reach you. That's when the pressure points he once pressed turn into concrete. That's when you become untouchable, and that's what he fears the most. Not your anger, not your sadness, your indifference, because indifference means he no longer has influence. Say this out loud right now. Access denied. Then type it in the comments. Let the words hit him like the locked door he never expected to face. Let the universe echo it back as confirmation that you are no longer breakable. Number 7. He's not scared you left. He's scared you're becoming untouchable. Let's get this straight once and for all. He was never afraid of losing you. He was afraid of losing his grip on you. The version of you that waited for his texts, the one who cried at his silence, the one who doubted herself while building him up. That's what he's scared of losing. Not your love, not your loyalty, not your soft heart, but the access to control it all. Because to him, you were never a partner. You were a possession, a mirror he could look into and feel powerful. You existed to make him feel like a man, while he treated you like you were less than a woman. And now? Now you're outgrowing the cage he built for you. And that terrifies him. Your glow-up, not the physical one, the spiritual one, the one where you no longer need his attention to feel beautiful. That's the nightmare. Your quiet confidence, the way you don't reach out anymore, the way you stopped explaining yourself. That's the horror movie playing in his head every night. You're not just gone, you're healing. You're getting stronger, you're rebuilding, and you're not doing it with the hope of him seeing it. You're doing it because you finally realized he was never the king. You were the whole damn kingdom, and he knows it now. That's why the messages start coming in. That's why he starts liking your posts again. That's why he suddenly remembers your birthday or sends a "just checking on you" text at midnight. Not because he misses you, but because you're slipping out of orbit. And when a man like that sees the gravitational pull fading, he doesn't reflect. He reacts. He throws out bait, old photos, pet names, songs. He wants to see if he can still reach you, still shake you, still interrupt your peace. Because peace is foreign to him. He only knows love through chaos. He only understands value if you're crying for him. And now you're not crying, and he's losing his identity. You were his mirror. Now you're his reminder. A reminder that someone can stop waiting, that someone can walk away and not collapse, that someone can disappear and not look back. He didn't fear your absence. He expected it. He thought you'd leave, cry, and crawl back like you always did. But this version of you, the one that's silent, the one that's glowing, the one that's not checking his story, not reacting to his games, not responding to the bait, this version of you is untouchable. And that's what breaks him. Because if he can't control you, he has to admit that he never mattered the way he thought he did. He has to face that the strings he once pulled are now cut. That the game is over, and you were the one who walked away from the board. He was never your god. He just wore the costume. And now, you see through it. You see the small man behind the manipulation, the little boy throwing tantrums in a grown body. You see the truth, and you're not entertained anymore. And hear me clearly. The moment you stop looking back is the moment he realizes he lost a queen, not a toy. Because toys are replaceable, queens are rare. And you were the warmth, the soul, the light. You were the everything he thought he could take for granted forever. But now, you're untouchable, and not because you changed for him, but because you finally chose you. Say it out loud right now. I am untouchable. Now type it in the comments. Let him feel the shift. Let the universe stamp it. Let you hear yourself say it and mean it. Because next, we're pulling back the last veil. The illusion that keeping his attention is a win. We're done with the performance. We're done needing him to see anything. We're about to talk about true freedom, when even his eyes on you don't matter anymore. Stay bold, stay quiet, stay gone. Number 8. Stop hoping he'll wake up. He slept just fine while you fell apart. So, my dear, let's stop lying to ourselves. He didn't forget to love you. He didn't get confused. He didn't need more time. He simply chose not to. He chose to ignore your needs. He chose to disregard your pain. He chose to disappear when you needed him the most. And the most brutal part? While you were curled up on the floor, begging God for a sign that he cared, he was sleeping peacefully. While you were reading over old messages, praying he meant it, he was laughing with someone else. While you were making excuses for him, protecting his reputation, defending his name to your friends, he was already planning the next lie. That wasn't love. That was abandonment with a smile. And no, he's not going to wake up one day and become the man you hoped he'd be. You can stop waiting. You can stop wishing. You can stop playing that fantasy in your head, because he already showed you who he is. And every time he ignored your tears, every time he disappeared when things got real, every time he blamed you for the mess he made, that was him choosing who to be. You just refused to believe it. And I get it. I really do. Because you loved hard. You stayed soft. You kept believing that the best parts of him were the real ones. You held on to the first version of him, the sweet talk, the late-night calls, the fake vulnerability. But baby, that wasn't him. That was the bait. That was the mask, the performance. And you fell in love with the role, not the reality. He didn't lose you. He wasted you. He wasted your time, your loyalty, your love, your body, your trust. And now you're the one left wondering what you did wrong. You want to know why? Because society trained you to take the blame. It trained you to see red flags as challenges. It taught you to see love as endurance, as suffering, as sacrifice. You were told to be patient, to wait, to hold him down until he got better. But no one ever told him to hold you up. No one ever told him to cherish your heart, to protect your softness, to choose you when it wasn't convenient. And you're still here, carrying the weight of a man who let you drown. Still writing imaginary endings for a man who left you mid-story. Still hoping for closure from someone who never cared enough to give you clarity. But let me tell you the truth that will set you free. Silence is the final answer to every what if. It's not a pause. It's not a tactic. It's not manipulation. It's the period, the end of the story, the shutting of the door, the locking of your peace. You do not need another conversation. You do not need another apology. You do not need one more text, one more explanation, one more confirmation of what you already know in your gut. He's not sorry. He's not coming back to be better. And if he does come back, it won't be because he changed. It'll be because he can feel your energy shifting, and he wants control back. But you're done. You're done bleeding for someone who never tried to stop the cut. You're done waiting at the gates of a man who never planned to let you in. You're done crying over someone who never lost sleep over what he did to you. You rise now. Not because he finally sees your worth, but because you do.